There's a lot of talk of faking it until you make it. So pretending that you're successful, I guess, pretending that you're super confident and you have it all figured out until ultimately you will have it all figured out. And then, the reality will catch up with the impression that you've given. And I have to say, this makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. Especially, I like to think that these days we all value authenticity, reality, being ourselves, being open and vulnerable. And while there are limits and boundaries we need to set in the professional context, we don't want to open ourselves up completely and risk, I guess, being hurt or risk being unprofessional. And that's a topic for another day. But this idea of pretending makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. So, of course, there's an element of showing up as if we are more confident than we are. And I think that's one thing. But we certainly can't fake competence and knowledge. We can't fake, I'd like to think, when we shouldn't be trying to fake, degrees and certifications and experience and so on. So we're not talking about lying on your CV and that kind of faking it, right? We are talking a little bit more about confidence. And I think rather than faking it till we make it, I'd love to reframe that and think about, okay, how can you show up as if? And rather than pretend to be someone you're not, you're actually projecting yourself into the future. If I were that person that I'm aspiring to be, how would I be behaving? If I already had the success I'm after, what would I be doing every day? So rather allowing it to affect your behavior. If I want to be a best-selling writer, then, well, I would be writing every day. If I were a writer, I would actually be writing. So let's get writing. If I were a confident speaker, then I'd probably be practicing speaking. I'd be writing my speeches. I'd be working with a speaking coach, who knows? So it's more about thinking, okay, how do I want to show up and what can I do to get myself closer to that? So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think it's okay to fake it until you make it? Do you think that's something that we should be doing? Or do you, like me, feel a little bit of discomfort around that and think, actually, let's be open, let's not lie, certainly, and let's embrace those imperfections. In fact, it's in those stories, it's in me sharing, hey, I did this webinar and only 7 people showed up, or actually I really struggled this morning because I didn't sleep very much with the kids and I'm supposed to be doing XYZ. I think those stories sprinkled in can make me seem more human and add to that emotional connection. Now, obviously, we still need to be seen as that expert, because otherwise, why would somebody work with us if we don't have the expertise and knowledge that we're purporting to have? But there is an element of authenticity that has to come there. And I think we miss a bit of that if we're trying to fake it and pretend to be that person who has that perfect, glossy career, business, whatever that is. So let me know what you think in the comments. And if you'd like to dig a little bit deeper, I'm going into this question of how can we reframe that again? How can we act as if we have those things, projecting ourselves into the future, and maybe not this idea of faking it till you make it. So new podcast episode out today. If you go to reimaginingsuccesspodcast.com, you can choose your favorite app to listen, or you can listen right there on the website. So reimaginingsuccesspodcast.com.